The very first thing I want to discuss is the panel on the left hand side against each track. So you have 3 options on each track. You have the lock feature, which will lock the track and not allow any movement to any of the clips within that track. This can come in handy if you're using the main track magnet. You can go ahead and click the lock button again to unlock the track. Next to that you have a I button, which is a feature that will allow you to hide the track. And then next to that you have a speaker button, which if you click will allow you to mute any audio on that particular track. Now, what I need you to understand, although we've got separate audio added into our timeline, the 300 Leonidas clip here, it comes with its own audio. So rather than the CapCut timeline segregating the audio is actually captured within the same track. So for example, if I zoom in on the tape clip that I've got here, and I can zoom in by moving the slider between these 2 magnifying glasses here on the top right hand corner. Of course, you have shortcuts as always. If I hover over the minus, it's essentially control with the minus sign or control with the plus sign, command if you're on Mac. So I'll go ahead and hit command plus. And as I zoom in closer, you can see here, there's a waveform that's captured within this video clip. And that waveform is actually the sound from the video clip. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute this track because I actually want the sound of Tate hitting the back. Now, as I mentioned in part 1 of the timeline tools, when you click on a particular clip, you have a set of tools that appear at the top of the timeline. The very first one I'm going to talk about is the delete tool, which of course you could hit backspace and there we go, the clip's deleted. Command Z to bring the clip back, or I can go ahead and hit this trash icon. Next to that, I have what is called the freeze tool. So if I click the freeze tool at a particular point within the timeline where my playhead is positioned, what will happen is I get a still image of what is currently being shown on the player, and this image will also be embedded into my timeline. So let's go ahead and have a click. So you can see here on this particular track, freeze, and it's a 3-second freeze frame of the particular section of the video where I initially had my playhead position. So if I hide the track above and I go back to the start of this particular clip, you can see as I scrub through, eventually we'll hit the freeze frame, and as I drag my playhead, you can see that is a particular freeze that has been added into the clip, and then as I move past that freeze frame, we move back into the video. So that's just a really quick way to snapshot something on the screen that's in a track and bring it into your timeline. I'm going to hit command Z to remove that. Then I'm going to go ahead and look at the next tool, which is the reverse tool. So if we move over to this clip here where Leonidas is moving his head to look over at the wolf, if I click this clip and hit the reverse tool, you'll see it says reverse completed, but obviously depending on your operating system, you may be greeted by a pop-up with a percentage from 0 to 100%, whereby CapCut is processing the clip and reversing it. So if we have a look back at this clip, it now looks as if Leonidas is looking at the wolf, and as I move my playhead more further into the clip, it looks as if Leonidas is looking away because we reversed it. I'm going to go ahead and hit command Z again. Staying on this clip, next to the reverse tool is the mirror tool, which is pretty self-explanatory. If I hit the mirror tool, you'll see that we mirror the clip. I'm going to go ahead and hit mirror again to put it back to its original position, and next to the mirror tool is the rotate tool, which again is pretty self-explanatory. If we click it, we can rotate the video clip 90 degrees each time. And then next to the rotate tool is the crop tool, which is a pretty interesting feature. If I go ahead and click crop, it'll allow me to bring the entire clip that may fall out of the 9:16 parameters, and I can go ahead and reposition or crop a particular section. Let's say I want this particular area. If I hit confirm, you'll see that I've cropped just that section to fit in the 9:16 aspect ratio of the playhead. And with all that being said, this 2-part timeline lessons should get you fairly up to speed with editing within CapCut straight away.